Thank you for all of you who are joining right now. I want to show you a very awesome technique that I've been introducing my clients to. And it's on a very particular use of the pyramid of life. And for that, I'm going to invite you all into a thought experiment of sorts. And you may allow yourself, if you're in the right position right now, in the right place, to sit comfortably and you're in a safe environment, and you may allow yourself to go inside and close your eyes if you wish. If you're like me, you can probably do this while driving, but it doesn't have the same effect, right? So maybe you take a few moments to prepare yourself, like you might want to be sitting down anyhow. So here it goes, right? So if you're at a place where you can sit for a moment and be in quietude and allow yourself to take a deep breath, and just take one deep breath and exhale. To settle into the moment, right? Taking another deep breath. And as you do, take it in slowly. Just pace yourself and allow yourself to notice how life actually courses through with each in-breath. And as you exhale, allow yourself to relax. Realize all the toxins and everything that is being expelled, that is no longer needed. That used to be life at one point. Inhale again. Feel life being charged again in a present moment. Exhale and relax and let go. Just let go. Allow your breath to kind of like become normal after that, but always knowing that you are living with every breath. And in a sense, realize too that nothing is really happening except right now. In all of life, the past and the future is nowhere, but inside a single tiny moment in the now. And that in this right now is actually life and nothing else. Everything else is a thought, a sensation, a projection, a representation of something that our minds think was. But every time you breathe is real life, and only then. And every time you breathe out, it's almost like a death in a sense, just to bring in new life and to let go. And I wonder now, if you allowed yourself to close your eyes, that's okay. Open them again for a moment. And to begin this experiment, go ahead and look about you. Take a moment and examine your surroundings. See where the horizon begins or where it ends. Maybe there are walls. Maybe there are natures. Maybe it's somewhere else. Check out the lighting, the shadows, the colors, the shapes. Allow your eyes to take in everything that it can. And also now take a listen. And allow the ears to tell you what's going on. Hear the sounds. Minute, far, near, loud, soft. Even the silence in between it all. There's even a silence outside of it all. And allow your nose also to bring in sense and tell you about the world where you are right now, breathing, living, being. The skin also is sending so much information right now to produce a chamber, which is where you live. It's just a moment. Look at it all, take it in. This is called environment. It is perceived as if it's outside of us. Our senses bring in this information, and data is processed somewhere inside to create an environment. It's almost a hallucination, is it not? Yeah, almost. Perhaps. Environment, then, is what makes up the first layer of a pyramid that I would call the pyramid of life. Environment is the base, and it is almost like the place of things. Yeah, and so, you can even close your eyes if you wish to now, or keep them open if you want to, and now allow yourself to create an environment that is most ideal to you, if you wish. Just with your thoughts, with your inner eye, superimpose it from where you are right now, on top of it. If you want, you can see, for example, waves crashing or landing onto a sandy beach. Maybe you are hearing the ocean waves and the seagulls, or the wind going through leaves. Maybe you're in a forest or in a desert. Maybe you're in a room with somebody you love. Create it. Feel it too. Feel it. What does the skin tell you? Is there a temperature? Is it comfortable, or is it perfect? Or is it a little bit chilly? Take in the scents. Imagine it. Create it with your mind. It is an experiment after all. And you are breathing the air of a present moment. And for a moment, then allow yourself to breathe in whatever air exists in that other environment that you are creating in your mind as you are listening to this and attempting this experiment. Environment. In this pyramid of life, there is another layer on top of environment. And above environment is behavior. Behavior has to do with how you use this thing that we call a body, an organic vehicle, our human biological machine, our temple. And it is how we interact with it. It's how others will see us interact with it. And so allow yourself to interact with the environment you just created in your mind for a moment, right? As I invited you to breathe in the air of the new environment, of the ideal environment right now, that was a moment, an example of behavior. Behavior is how you interact with it. And you can see then in the pyramid of life, the first two layers, environment and behavior, actually interact with each other very well. As you can, for example, maneuver and manipulate the environment around you. You can walk around and create footsteps on the sand or on the snow. Allow dust to puff up every time you walk. As you breathe in the air and out, you are magically creating, you're magically using an alchemical furnace inside that takes in oxygen and breathes out carbon. And also your actions, your facial expressions, your body postures, all encompass behavior. Take another breath now and allow me to bring in the next layer. Environment is at the bottom, and above that is behavior. And above that Above that are our skills. And also our skills and the ability we have to produce behavior. And see, for example, some people like to create an ocean into which they go out and swim, and they dive in under the waves and they appear on the other side where the waves are no longer crashing. Or they dive in and they can open their eyes inside the salty waters. And some others create something else. I've even seen archers, right? And they take their bow and arrow and they let go of the string and they see it go directly to their target. Not all of us have what it takes to behave in any and all ways necessarily, right? It is dependent on our skills and capabilities. And so above environment and above behavior, on the pyramid of life, we have capabilities and skills. And you may also allow yourself as well to see how they interact with each other, how skills will dictate behavior, and how behavior will dictate environment in many ways, right? As I said, you can simply choose to move one fan to turn it off, pick a chair and bring it to the other corner or what have you. But you don't necessarily get to jump 5 feet in the air to score a hoop on the basketball court, unless that is one of the skills you have acquired. And yet, you may also affect skills through behavior by making very small, minute changes, or by making repetitive effort through behavior where you practice hard enough to acquire the skill that later allows you to have the skill and do exactly what you want to do in that environment. Above that, are beliefs. That's right, beliefs. In NLP and in many other thoughts and philosophies, we say that beliefs often disguise themselves as reality. Yeah, that's right. And so we have come to believe in a world, in a universe, in a situation, in a fixed pattern, in something that either works or doesn't, in something that either is or is not. And those beliefs seem to be fixed because we seem to sometimes accept the idea that reality is what it is and is unchangeable, and that right there is a belief. In my work, which is about breakthrough, right, about helping somebody that is stuck out of that stuck point, we go and work directly with what we call limiting beliefs. Exactly as it says, it's a belief that limits you. You may believe that you can never earn more money than you have ever earned. And guess what? Most likely you won't. until that belief is overcome, either by changing it and replacing it with a more empowering one. Possibilities will arise once limiting beliefs are discarded. Beliefs actually dictate what our capabilities are. If I believe I'm too short to go into a competition with taller men in a basketball hooping contest, then I simply am too short. And see, I can try all I want. It's going to be really hard to break that belief from the bottom. And yet it's possible. I can, for example, like I said, behave in such a way that I train myself to become better and better at hooping, boom, in a basketball and shooting baskets or what have you. You know, I'm not even like a sports guy, so I don't even know. Like, see, that's a belief right there that I'm not a sports guy. And yet, I can come to effect and to come to almost change a belief. But if the belief is hard-grained inside of me as reality, and I know for a fact that I will not be able to compete with taller men at shooting hoops, then it doesn't matter how hard I train. Most likely, I will not find myself competing at that level. And if I'm able to switch that belief just slightly, if I'm able to tell myself, hey, I can love, and also I am loved. If I'm able to say to myself, I have the skills to earn so much more, or I can acquire the skills to earn so much more. I have what it takes to accomplish. And if that's a real belief, then the rest almost falls into place. So we have environment at the bottom. That's the place where we play. We have behavior. That's how we play. We have capabilities and skills above that, and that's what we are able to play, or what games we're able to play. And then we have beliefs above that, and that dictates where we take the game and how far we can go. Above that, we have values. And that's where I said, bam, values. And I don't know if you're getting the theme, that the higher we go up the pyramid of life, the highest plates and planks above it, above the bottom ones, have more say and more power over those underneath. See, values gives us a great advantage, because values is about beliefs, and values is much more inside of us. It's almost like values is more tangible somehow than beliefs happen to be, disguising themselves as reality and all. And so if we have values, values dictate beliefs, you know. It might be that I value connection above survival. And my neighbor might value survival above connection. And our worlds are going to be completely different. Our beliefs are going to be somewhat different by that alone. And see, values, it's not always easy, but it is easier to change a value than to change belief. Once our values are in place, we can adjust our beliefs, get rid of limiting beliefs that no longer serve us, and acquire empowering ones that will serve us more where we are now and for what we're trying to accomplish. Now, So here's the pyramid of life so far. We're almost at the top. You started in this thought experiment by creating an environment inside your mind. Actually, you started by looking at the environment where you find yourself now. Some people create something completely different. They take themselves across the world. Some people have taken themselves into other realities, into other worlds, into other planets. And some people kind of like look around and say, nah, I'm where I want to be. I'm going to create the same one. Maybe I'm going to turn the candle on while I sit here. That's about it. Behavior then. It's above that. Capabilities and skills are above behavior. Beliefs are above capabilities and skills, and values are above beliefs. And as the pyramid of life almost completes itself, almost, the next layer is identity. Identity is tricky because it's very closely related to beliefs. You can think or believe that you are one thing that is not necessarily what you really are. That's why we have something called ego and everything, right? Now, ego, don't get it wrong. It's tricky, and it imposes itself, and it believes that it is identity, and it's not. Ego is a phase, a facet. In fact, it has many masks that we wear. Ego is like an ally if you treat it correctly, and it serves you. It allows you to interact in so many ways. It becomes a skill of sorts, right? It becomes a way to behave as well. But it is not identity. And identity actually stands above values. Above values. Yeah. It's above your beliefs too. So we now have environment, behavior, which is how we play. Capabilities and skills is what we are able to play. Beliefs is how far we can take the game. Of course, you know, values is our code of ethics. A lot of times we wish them to be unbreakable, uncompromisable. And we do run into hurt and injury to self, to destiny, you know, to our innermost sense of self when we go against our own code of ethics, when we go against our values. Sometimes we do because there is a sort of like a hiccup, a discrepancy, a knotted up of energy somewhere that we did not take care of in our past internally. And so like the plates in the pyramid of life are not aligned correctly. That happens, for example, a lot when we, with the addict or the alcoholic that has become a poison to himself. To someone who became too afraid to stand up for herself at one point or another. And the cloud actually occurs at the bottom. You know, it kind of like drops down like this. It's denser the closer we get to the bottom of the pyramid. And so from a certain perspective, it's harder to see up to where we really are. So far the pyramid is identity, values, beliefs, capabilities and skills, behavior, and at the bottom is environment. Environment, behavior, capabilities and skills, and the pyramid continues up. Beliefs, then values, then identity. And now at the very top of the pyramid, the apex, the thing that pierces through and above your identity, through and beyond who you really are, is called purpose. Yeah, purpose. Hey, Terry. Thank you for joining. Purpose, then, is above identity, right? It's beyond us. When we are connected to our true purpose, and remember, this pyramid of life is ourselves. It's within and without. It's the entirety of it all. And when we are connected to purpose, purpose being at the very top, it dictates everything that comes down. It dictates identity. It dictates values. It dictates beliefs. It dictates capabilities and skills. It dictates behavior. And ultimately, it dictates environment. And here in the teaching of the pyramid of life, hey Chris, thank you for joining, brother. It's a great technique and a secret. And I've been using this with some of my clients recently. And it is actually the first thing I go for when I speak to people who have been addicted and have been struggling, but struggling like, not like, you know, yeah, I'm 20 years clean, but rather I was 3 years clean and I just relapsed, you know, and I relapsed for about 2 weeks. And I've been clean for another week, but I'm struggling. Hey, Ali, my sister, thank you for joining. And so I go directly to purpose because, as I said, I am a servant to the light inside of us all. There is a sacred spark of divinity, and to that I am in devout service. When I have someone in front of me and they're asking for help, I try to connect to that. And to that I ask, what is your purpose? Where are you? It's not, and this is a tricky thing because actually we work with the whole thing, the whole gamut, right? But connecting to purpose from the beginning just makes the rest of it to be so easy. Okay, maybe not so easy here and there. Very difficult, but it makes it all possible. Completely and thoroughly possible. So we have purpose above it all. Beneath purpose in the pyramid of life is identity. Beneath that is values. See, now we're looking from above down below. And the first thing, purpose is above us. Purpose is almost like it's not even us. And yet it is. It makes us. It brings us here. Every time you take a breath, just one in breath, feel it now. Breathe in. And see, feel the life that goes on. Purpose is right in there. Purpose beats your heart. Purpose keeps you moving forward without you even knowing. And you have purpose, and beneath that you have identity. That's a whole being. That's like a universe, a lifetime that is ready to execute, that is ready to just to continue. And beneath that, you have values. And that's what the identity has decided is the best course of action to address the purpose above. And beneath values, you have beliefs. And those are a little sedentary. Sorry, they're like crystallized a bit, but for a reason. They're the beliefs that we can count on, unless they're limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs happen. And we just encounter, when we encounter them, we work with them, man. We get rid of them in one way or another. And then beneath beliefs, we have capabilities and skills. And that's how we have come to what we need to be able to affect a change or a lifetime. And beneath capabilities and skills, then we have, again, behavior. And that's how we interact with the environment. That's why you can see us doing and performing. If it was a silent film about our life, and we were all watching you right now, and it was your silent film, and there's no caption, and there is no narrative, and no sound, no voice coming out. All we can see is what your body does and acts. We can see your facial expressions, your reactions. That's behavior. Although, of course, behavior does entail as well speaking and sounds and everything. And beneath that is environment. And that usually we take to be outside of ourselves. Usually, normally speaking, there's some sort of a belief in there somewhere, most of us, that decided that environment is outside of us. But it really isn't. Environment is very much us. It is the base of the pyramid of life. It is the densest form of us, too. When you're connected to purpose, you realize that the base of the pyramid has to be encompassing that center. You have to have that purpose right in the middle of it all. So you can shoot down this straight into the base of the pyramid, the environment. And it becomes sometimes your life task to change the environment so that it fits that purpose above you. And sometimes to do that, you have to act in a certain way. Your behavior has to be benefiting that higher purpose. And to do that, to execute that behavior properly so that the environment is taken care of, you have to acquire the skills necessary. And for that, you have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe that that is your work. You have to have beliefs in the right place. If they're limiting, change them, make it empowered. Get rid of them. Sometimes they're so old and outdated that we just drag it along, and it's just really dragging us along as well. And to do that, your values have to be cleansed and have to be placed in the right order so that the light above, which is the identity, which is the thing that you are that shines through, which is that light, that the vehicle for your light can effect its own presence in the right way so that the thing that's above you, which is still you, which is purpose. Sometimes we call it God. Sometimes we call it pimp. The light inside, you know, the reason you're here, if you will. Yeah, Terry, it's absolutely 100% correct. Without a purpose, we are lost because we have forgotten why. And who and how, what and when, and everything. So here's an exercise that you can try. Thank you for coming along with me on this ride. If I have you close your eyes in the past and for some reason you still haven't closed, for whatever reason, I doubt that you haven't closed, open them and come back to us. And here's an exercise, right? See, the pyramid of life can be it affects everything. It's like a biosystem, right? Whereas the ones above have more power over the ones beneath them. Purpose over identity, identity over values, values over beliefs, beliefs over capabilities and skills, capabilities and skills over behavior, and behavior over environment. If you think your environment makes you act a certain way, yeah, you're kind of true, but it's disempowering. It's a weakness. You dictate the behavior, and therefore you affect the environment. There is a truth to the idea that where you are is where you have placed yourself. I'm not saying that there are no victims. Of course there are victims. We've all been there. And sometimes so much so that we think ourselves as broken. We're not really broken. At the most, we're just misaligned, misguided, we've forgotten who we are, something like that. So here it is, right? It's about cleansing the lenses, the filters. And here's one that's a good one. Try this one. Grab a piece of paper. You know, sometime today, you can do it right now, whenever, this week. I suggest you do it. It's really cool. And it's a technique that really works too. And I suggest you try it. Grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. And on the top, title it Values. You can even bring in your identity a little bit there and say, my values. What's going on here? And now begin with this, and don't skip the steps, are important. Do not skip steps, and do not say, oh, I got all that, so I'm just going to go to the end and start doing the end step. You're bound to miss something. First of all, as always, take in a deep breath so that you are centered in the present for a moment. Pay attention to your breath for a few seconds, and then consider your life. Allow yourself, think to yourself and ask yourself, as I have lived my life from birth, from the very beginning till this present moment right now, what has been most important to me? And it's important that you consider your entire life from birth till now, till the present, when you ask this question, and then write down what comes up. And we're looking for values, right? So you're going to say love, for example. Let's say love comes up. Love has been important for me all my life as I've lived it. So write down love. Then ask again. You know, clean your mind, ask again. As I have lived my life from beginning till now, what has been very important or most important for me? Family. Thank you, Terry. Write down family as well. Now you have two, love and family. As an example, right? I'm not telling you what to write. And keep going like that. But every single time, consider your life. And see, it's important that you come up with what has been important to you in your life. As you have lived it from beginning till now. Not what's important to you right now only. Because see, at one point, let's say safety was super important for me. As an example, right? Safety at one point was, oh my God. But like I would always watch out and I have to make sure that I'm safe in a space when I walk in, right? I don't have to act paranoid. I don't have to go in like this and be like, what's up, man? And you know, like, is this window locked and all that? But in my mind, I was, and in my heart too. I could walk in and be like, hey, everybody shake their hands. And I'm always calculating safety everywhere, right? I even take a pose so that people know that, you know, they can't mess with me or whatever. And I could say, for example, that right now safety would not be that much important to me, but it would be a mistake to not write down safety on my list, because as I have lived my life from the beginning till now, safety has been an important factor for me. And go down the list again. God, God has been very important to me, and it is still right now. So write that down. And the idea is this: come up with at least 10. Let's say from 10 to 15. That's what I tell my clients. Come up with about 10 to 15 values. And see, with my clients, I may do it there in the moment. And what I've been doing lately is I've been giving them homework. So I send them off till we meet again next week, or whenever you say we meet again, and say, bring it to me, right? So come up with about 10 to 15 or so. If you have more, that's okay too. But don't overdo it, right? We just want the most important ones. If you have anywhere from 7, 8, or 9, that should be probably okay too, but no, go up to 10. Don't be lazy. Always considering the entirety of your life, from beginning, from birth till now. What has been very important or most important? You know, communion, right? Connection, like I said, whatever comes up, right? Love, for sure, I said. And anyways, that's your list of values, right? And then step 2, go and now observe all the values you have listed, right? Family, God, connection, love, certainty, could be for some others, safety, right? Whatever it is. And then now consider the present moment. Maybe even take another breath. Now to expand your life. And now go down the list and start numbering them. Which one is the most important for you right now? So let's say it's family. I'm using Terry Anthony's examples there. Thank you, sis. And then you will write down number 1, family. And let's say God down the list is number 2. You write down number 2 next to God. And let's say love is 3. You write down 3 next to love. And I don't know, let's say relationships, right? Or connection is number 4. Safety is number 5, etc., etc. Okay, that's step 2. Once you have numbered all of them, or up to 15, and I'm saying like 10 to 15. If you came up with 25, just number up to 15. We don't need everything else. Not for where we're going. But it's up to you, really. I say 10 to 15. Once you have that, in order of importance, list them. Either turn the paper over, or if you write small on another corner of the paper or whatever, list them in order of importance from top to bottom. So like number 1 is family, number 2 is God, number 3 is love, number 4 is safety, number 5 connection, number 6, etc., etc., etc. Have that list. That's the last step. And now keep your list close to you in your pocket or something, and mind it and voice it to yourself once in a while. Remember that family is the most important thing to you as you go about your day, and that God is also one of the most important things for you as you go about your day. And go ahead and try it for like a week, 2 weeks, who knows? Just keeping that list, reading it maybe daily. Realize the pyramid of life too. I always have them draw it, and I have them draw a triangle, maybe on another sheet. At the bottom, put environment, then put behavior on top of that, then put capabilities and skills on top of that, then put beliefs on top of that, then put values on top of that, then identity, and at the very top, put purpose. What happens with this list of values is that you will unconsciously, but very consciously too, in some ways, begin to become aware. Your unconscious mind it's almost like revisiting the program. It's like recalibrating things that might have been lost in the past. It is like cleansing the lens, you know, like and making it shiny again, making it clear. Your unconscious mind will begin moving templates inside so that light passes through them again and again. See, you might come to realize, hey man, this safety thing is not as important as it used to be for me. So why am I always trying to defend myself when family is more important? It's more important to realize that she is family rather than her being something that I need to defend myself against. And see, it's not necessarily that you're going to have all these, you know, conscious epiphanies or whatever, but in the unconscious mind, in the subconscious realm, things will begin to shift. And then you can begin to effect change in your own world, in your own life around you, all the way down to environment. And you can also begin to look at yourself and say, hey, who am I then? If these are my values, what does that make me? What is my identity? And beyond that, purpose. Where has purpose gone? And what am I doing about it? And why does this belief still exist if it doesn't match my values, right? What if one of my values is connection, but I believe that some people are inferior to me and they don't deserve some of the things that I carry or that are accessible to everybody? Yeah, it kind of does. Henrik Johnson asks, does it matter how abstract or concrete the points are, as in love instead of or versus raspberries? You know, yeah, it does. In this section, yes, up above the pyramid, we're talking about values much more than what love being a value, much more than the receptacle into which you place love. At this level, anyhow. So go with love rather than raspberries, right? In my case, it would be flan. No, you know. And so, yeah, good question. Thank you. So try it for a little while. You know what, guys? I'm so sorry. My computer is that it's like about to die, and I didn't bring my charger. And anyways, I'm about 56, 57 minutes into it, so it's time. I really love that question and your interactions. Let me know if you have any further questions. You can type them up here or send them to me via, you know, Messenger or write to me at viento and breakthroughtheotherside.com. And, you know, when you have God, you are Him. No. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I hope